Monday is on its way. Come on. They really say ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Victory Monday party? The jam, the groove. Come on. Be sure on your way in to smash, and I mean just that, smash the like button. Let's go. The name is Law Nation. Without hesitations nor deviation to the matter, we in this. Cowboys 4-1. Come on. 5, 4, 3. We live, baby. Like 95. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Turn me up. All right. Come on. What's up, everybody? What's good? What's cooking in your neighborhood? My name is Law Nation. We're going to talk about this. Shout out to everybody that followed me last night. I'm on multiple platforms. Salute to the TikTok gang, baby. I'm nearing 10,000 there, and I really appreciate you so much for helping me grow that TikTok platform as well as the Instagram and Facebook. I really appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to Cowboys Experience. Before we go further into details, let's tune in to Cowboys Experience on this part of it.
Let the Cowboys Experience introduce you to a whole new way to enjoy a Cowboys football weekend. Experience the ultimate Cowboys player and fan event at Toyota Music Factory on the Texas Lottery Plaza, making lasting memories by booking at cowboysexperience.com today.
Let's go. Let's go. Book your appointments right now, man, to get or book your tickets. That's a better way to say it. And so that you can have a great time with us, man, out there at these events. Now, of course, our next game is a away game, and we will not be at home. But go ahead, get ready. This defense is real. Shout out to you, Patrick Williams. Appreciate you, C. Nix. Shout out to you, Charlie, that's over there on the Facebook. Cowboy Nation. How do y'all like this defense? And Cowboy Nation, if you're team Mike McCarthy, let me see MM in the chat. If you're not team Mike McCarthy, just say no MM. I just want to keep a tally. I want to keep a poll of those who say, hey, man, Mike McCarthy is my dog. So let me know, man, because y'all already know how this goes.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, indeed. I see y'all up in here, man. So, the Dallas Cowboys victorious over the LA Rams. And I told you they're going to try to water it down just a little bit. You know, the final score 22-10. They was pretty much saying, well, the Rams offensive line was porous. They didn't really protect Matt Stafford. It is what it is. The Cowboys, their defense, no. And then we hear them, picking on our philosophy, the formula. We've been saying formula all offseason. The formula. Run the ball. Hey, the Cowboys are this record when they run the ball. And I get it. The four-letter network, they listen to us, right? We hear things echoing for what they say, for what we said. You know what I'm saying? And then the validations come in. But validation is only good for parking. I promise you it is. But it is what it is. Shout out to you, Rob. He says, give Mike McCarthy his credit. Yep. You got to at this point. You got to. The quarterback, Cooper Rush, standing tall. And the offensive line, everybody had their doubts, their worries, the issues with this team. Number one this offseason, offensive line. Number two, wide receivers. Well, it appears that the offensive line is getting enough push, right? Oh, and the wide receivers, for what we were asking them to do, they're doing a decent job. Shout out to my guy, Michael Gallup, with the toe drag swag. Man, my goodness, did y'all see that play? If you didn't see that play, go log on to YouTube and come back, and after you watch it, come back and chill with us, man. Come on. Shout out to you. Nick, what's good? Yeah, it's Chris. Shout out to you. Law Nation, what's good, bro? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all, man. You know, no MM. It's all Dan Quinn. This is from Bradley Dennis. Shout out to Bobby Belt. Let me see if I can go there too. Y'all bear with me, because Bobby Belt on Twitter, it could be on Instagram. Let me pull up Instagram first. I think it's on Instagram. And bear with me, I'm gonna pull up Bobby Belt. He got speaking of my guy Dan Quinn. He got this, and it goes a long way. Just bear with me, Cowboy Nation. One love to y'all. Let me go pull up we building the plane while it's in the air. And we'll listen to Stephen Jones as well, and we'll open up the phone lines as well. So go ahead and grab your place in line, and we get things going the best way possible. How about that, huh? And here we go. There we go right here. Just got to build it. Okay, bam. And we go right here. Look at that. He captured this moment. And he's making sure he's dapping up everyone. Look at it. Love, that's your defensive coordinator. DQ. Hey, he kind of gave a soft pat to the offensive guy, but he really embraced the defensive guy. It's my people, man. It's my dogs, man. Yeah, look at him. That type of passion. Look at the love. Look at the love at the end. That's straight love, baby. That's straight love. That was the end of that video. I like Dan Quinn. I like what he brings to the table, ladies and gentlemen. You only getting that from a defensive coordinator. You're not getting that brand of Dan Quinn if hear me out, if he's the head coach. You're not going to get that. The way that he put his hands on the players, all when I was out there at training camp. He works toe-to-toe with those guys, shoulder to shoulders, down in the low dial, right? Foot to foot, in the trenches. He is the heart, the soul of this defense. And he just don't do that with the players. I got a chance to see him do that also with his coaching staff on the defensive side of the coin. Yeah, so it's a situation whereas with Mike McCarthy, I think that the balance of power with Mike McCarthy, he is the type of guy that pretty much give the understanding of wisdom to the players. Like walking around, hey, I've been here before. Walking around letting them know, hey, they got us down as the underdog. But I don't see any underdog in you. Right? That's how he even put the helmet on. Shout out to you, Jerome. Shout out to you, Ron Smith. Appreciate you. So you got a guy that's really, 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 really into it on both sides. Now, the guy that was learning on the job, right, is Kellen Moore. It's Kellen Moore. And as much as I say this, a lot of people think that I'm just reaching for straws when I say this stat line. The Dallas Cowboys have a 14-0 record when they rush for 25 carries or more. And if you read through any of my my chats there, they say, well, Lord, it doesn't mean that just because you run the ball for 25 times that the Cowboys will win. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not even implying that. I know that just the quick formation of it, but for those who've been following this channel for a long time, not a short time, know what we are saying when we rush the ball for this amount of time. Because It helps out with time of possession. It gives you more opportunities for your defense to rest. It gives a situation, too, that the more times you run the ball, less things happen because there are more situations of drop balls, interceptions, tip ball at the LOS that can happen when you pass the ball. Or sack, you lose 5, maybe 10 yards. But when you run the ball, it develops this physicality mindset. There's not an offensive lineman on this planet, maybe on another universe or multiverse or whatever dimension, that they prefer to be in pass pro. These boys prefer to be in run. They want to maul something. They want to hit something. And the worst thing you can do on an opening series or a drive, have that balance unmixed, not mixed in. Having a 330-pound guy first stepping backwards, not even busting a full sweat. You want them boys to get really into it, move stuff out the way. And even I didn't agree with Tyler Smith one-on-one with Aaron Donald. Donald going to get his. But I guarantee you, after he won a few reps, because Aaron Donald didn't win them all, he probably say to himself in his mind, man, I'm from Tulsa. I went to Tulsa. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, right? He from Fort Worth, right? I blocked Aaron Donald. There's not a soul in a uniform can tell me something now. I blocked Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald won some, right? I won the majority of them, right? Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate you. Keith, she says, Rush is not the starting quarterback. So sick of hearing this rant over and over, basically. The levels of expectations. The levels of expectations. In the Cowboys universe, multiverse, the other player is always the best player. The other player always shine. I had a third of the people banging on the table. Tony Pollard better than Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Pollard. Right? So what we got to do is understand that there will be people, casual people, the general public, that will always be that way. Those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. They would dismiss the third down, right? When Zeke stretched out, squeezed for 9 yards, right? And they will only remember the touchdown that Tony Pollard was able to run in between after the defense been worn down. They will only remember that, and they'll forget about the Washington game when he averaged less than a yard per carry. They'll forget about the Buccaneers game when literally Farnock stepped into his spot, and all Tony Pollard had to do is get in the way, and the guy just took him and threw him and tossed him away. It's not about raising someone else to cut down the other. It's about looking at these two individual players and say, man, my goodness, those two boys playing together, they are remarkable. They give you sugar and spice and everything else that's nice. The thunder, they give you all of those things, right? But there will be a few that will still look at that and then dismiss everything the good comes up out of it and only highlight the bad that's with it. And that's just the Cowboys fan base, unfortunately. They've been baptized by that from the Four Ladder Network to teach us to go against each other, right? To teach us to put one up, put one down, and to say someone is worthless, right? To teach us to only, look at this right here. Teach us to only look at this right here, right? What Tony supposed to do? I mean, he gets his quarterback crate. But I get it. They teach us to, hey, disregard what 68 was able to do. But look at Tony, man, you know. But that was weeks ago. It is what it is. Pollard needs more carries, though. Yeah, it is. He needs more carries. I agree with that. The Cowboys should look at this moment for where we at and say that, all right, cool. We're 4-1. We're 4-1. We're winning. Matter of fact, Cupper Rush is 5-0. You know, but let's go. Let's listen to 105.3 The Fan.
Doing good, guys. How you doing?
Man, getting a victory always feels fantastic, and I had a lot of more superlatives, but did that feel like a bit of a home game with that crowd and that stadium yesterday?
It was a home game, yeah.
Well, my hat's off to our fans. First of all, what a beautiful stadium, but our fans showed up in full force and were loud, and, you know, there at the end when we needed them, we were trying to hold the Rams out from scoring. There's a big defense chance, and it really did have a great atmosphere to it, and really hats off to all our great Cowboy fans, especially the ones out in California who were there for the game. It was a great environment.
Now the first big play of the game is Dorrance Armstrong, and then DeMarcus Lawrence does what he does. But you guys have been talking about Dorrance Armstrong for quite some time, Stephen, and a lot of us were sitting there going, okay, maybe one day. What did you guys see that you knew was going to be the difference for this guy?
Man, before he go, man, I can't even find an angle to say, man, you know, them Jones boys, man, they was wrong. They stood behind Dorrance Armstrong, baby. I didn't see what they saw, right? And I ate crow on it, and I looked at it like, hey, you know what? At this point, them boys, hey, man, at this point, man, how can you even, like, how can you really dog the Cowboys now, the front office, with that move? Like, let's be real. Hey, man, even if you want to right now, you can't. Now, I get it. You know, is it Will McClay? Is it John Stephen Jones? Is it Jera? Wayne Jones? Is it him? Because Jerry was talking about Dorrance Armstrong in 2020 when they was dropping him in coverage with the other defensive coordinator. And I was like, man, come on, man, you know. They got to steal. They look, they literally, the Cowboys front office literally.
Thief! Stop! Thief! Come back, thief!
Man, I was so wrong with that dude, man. Oh, my gosh, man. Let's listen to these boys.
Well, he just, when given opportunities, he took advantage of them. I think his first year, he was all around the quarterback. He just, didn't finish. But as each year passed, he's gotten better, at the finish part and really starting to produce sacks. I mean, he made a point, that he had as many sacks as some guys who were getting paid twice him with about half the amount of plays. And certainly he's getting his opportunities this year, and he's taking advantage of them. But, he's one of those guys that can rush the passer, and certainly, the way Dan's using these guys and different packages is paying off for us.
I think, or is it all Dan Quinn, Man, however we slice it, baby. It could be Dan Quinn. It could be Coach Dirday. Shout out to you, Jay Form. He's in the chat. He may know more than I know about this. It could be Dirday. Coach Dirday is a phenomenal man. He ain't gonna be here long. Coach Dirday and Joe Witt Jr. Those boys may not be here long because of the way Coach Quinn is elevating those boys up so quickly that I don't see how we can keep those guys here. But it could be multiple layers of this on how all of a sudden Dorrance Armstrong, like specialty, it could absolutely be Coach Bones. Because Bones Foster put this man, he got 3 block kicks. Crucial. The first, he blocked the punt, blocked field goals. You can't make this stuff up, man. This dude is a special weapon, specialized weapon. Right?
I think some of us were, I'm sure y'all were not, some of us were surprised to see Jason Peters pop up as injured or inactive as the week went along. Can you give us any status update for how long he might be out?
Yeah, he has a rib that was really giving him, trouble last week, and we just felt the best thing for him was to get him well. And we were using him in a backup capacity as it was sitting, and certainly we're gaining confidence in Ball and Waletzko and Farniok, and thought we had that luxury to have that covered. Hopefully he'll make strides again this week and can get to where he can be active against his old team, the Eagles. I know he wants to certainly play against them and contribute, so we'll see how this week goes.
Steven, I know it goes back to the Super Bowl teams that you were a part of in 92 and 93, but I'm watching this defensive front with the depth that you guys have, with Micah Parsons being your best, and thinking this reminds me of when I see 92, I see Tony Tolbert, and I know that it's Dorrance Armstrong, but this is just really fun to watch. Do you believe that this is as good a defense as your championship teams?
Well, we'll see what the full body of work turns out to be. It certainly has the potential. The way we're going right now, the defense has a lot of depth. The front seven's strong, rotating Ball. Rotating Leighton and Barr and all that crew through. And we've got Damone Smith back in practice starting last week, and I think he has the opportunity to contribute this year. Certainly our depth at the safety position we've seen, is stepped up and really did a nice job while Kirsch was out. But it was great to get Kirsch back. And then, the corner position is another position of strength for us in terms of, the depth we have back there with Kelvin Joseph and Bland in that group. So it's it's just an all-around deep defense, and, we can keep everybody fresh. And, obviously Dan Quinn's doing a good job of really dialing up the right things. I think this is now 5 games in a row that we've kept our opponents under 20 points, and you certainly give yourself a chance to win when you do that.
Man, he's right on the money. Man, look, man, we haven't allowed multiple touchdowns, and how many times since this year, right? Or we haven't allowed over 20 points, I believe, since this year. So, or is it multiple touchdowns, right? It's one of the two. Defense is just crazy. You still question the defense? Still question marks on the defense, Jay? My thing is, defense known to get better as the season progresses, right? Especially if it's a certain category that we're still working at. Like, we're not peaking yet on defense. And I think that all right, so let's be real. Speed is still an issue a little bit on our defensive side. I'm not finna put my guy Trayvon Diggs in the trash can. All right, I take that back. Speed and tackling. With Jordan Lewis out there, I just don't see him as a sure tackler. We already know Trayvon Diggs is not a thumper. If given the situation, he'll give you 2 or 3 real good tackles out of a game. The front is pretty good. I don't really see any weaknesses with the front outside of, if you talk about the front 4, we cool with that. Front 7, where you start including the linebackers, they there, but I think the linebacker speed can help us if we find someone with a little bit more speed. Anthony Brown, he was been sliding off of people like he had butter all over his body yesterday. I think that our youth, I think we got better tacklers that was sitting on the bench. Izzy can hit. I like the way Jabril, not Jabril Cox, but the other guy from FMU. What's his name? Shoot, name at the tip of my tongue. God, dog. 41. I think he can hit. My guy Bland can hit. They are good tacklers. Kelvin Joseph, he's a good tackler out in space. What's 41's name? God, dog, y'all tell me 41's name. Bell, yeah, Marquise Bell. Appreciate you. 41, he can hit. So I think, and of course, Malik Hooker, he can come down and hit. On the play that was given up, the big play for the touchdown for Cooper Kupp, granted, that was a dang on good play by Cooper Kupp. I looked at that play again after you watched the game again, 27. If he was a little bit faster, he should have made that tackle outside of Diggs being burnt on that play or getting, the dude got separation, but he just – and I would give Jaron Kearse a little pass because that was his first game back, right? He tried to get his playing legs up under him. I truly believe, like, if my guy Wilson was on that side, he would have made that tackle. But I'm not trying to replace Kearse, okay, Cowboy Nation? I'm just letting people know that that's just my observation of it. But this defense, that's me just nitpicking. Like, everything. It goes all the way back to Shaq when he was on the Pivot podcast or one of those I Am Athlete podcasts, I think it was Pivot, when he said that, hey, his father used to take away his trophies, take away anything that he did good and say you haven't done anything. You got to re-earn your reward there. And I think that this defense should be looking at the same thing, like we haven't accomplished anything, right? We still got a long way to go. But I think speed and tackling should be our priority all this week. We're going to have to deal with a Eagles team. If you look at what they did against the Arizona Cardinals, it wasn't a lot. But they got speedy running backs. They got a speedy quarterback. So we're going to have to make sure we hit them and they feel it and we can get them down. Let's go. Let's listen to more of Stephen Jones.
Stephen Jones joined us here on the KNC Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan, which he does every Monday here on The Fan. This is interesting because the legend of Micah Parsons is continuing to grow. And when you play through injury, it just adds to it, right? And so he has the groin injury. Uh-huh. Can you kind of tell us, because that's got to be a little bit of a concern, right?
Well, we'll certainly monitor that, and we've got, I think, the greatest trainers in the NFL, and Jim Maurer and Britt Brown. They're certainly got to take care of our guys, not put them in harm's way to make things worse. And I think they felt like Micah was at a place where he could, as long as he was comfortable, that he could do it without making it worse. So we'll see how the week goes, but feel good about the prognosis with him. I know he's checked in this morning and felt good, so feel good about him being available.
I think the quote, Stephen, from Micah was, "As long as I'm alive, I'm good to go." Is that do you want every player to have those kind of mentality?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you look for. I mean, we all know this league is physical. It's difficult. It's tough. But
hey, Micah, what are you doing? No. I didn't know he put this out there. We won't call this, but we will call a rough in the passer. No, Micah. Let us do that. Can we focus and protect defensive players? I feel it like he tied it in. Okay, can we focus and protect defensive players? I'm gonna still reshare this, Mike. But let us do the talking, baby. I don't like that. I don't want no targets on your back, man. I don't like that. God, dog. Y'all know how look the aficionados, man. They are in their cat feelings, man. I appreciate you, whoever told me to look that up. Man, come on. No. Yeah, man. So. And we see this, we know that that's a blatant, it's a hole. I did my little piece on it this morning. I didn't tag them in it because I don't want this type of repercussions, from the aficionados. I ain't saying I'm worried about the aficionados, But I don't like the aficionados, man. You know how it goes, man. Let me see if I can blow this picture up so all of y'all can see it. I don't want him talking about this. You know, maybe off season, but not during the season, because of course we know he's being held. We know. Let his agent, let somebody else with a blue check mark talk about this. Maybe slide maybe $200-$300 to somebody, you know, that with the blue check mark that's a media guy. Let them make series about this. But I know that for once, when my guy D-Law, when he was a double-digit sack guy, the time that he got, you know, back-to-back double-digit sacks, he started complaining. He's not complaining. He started explaining, right? He started explaining, because I don't want to say complaining. He started explaining, like, hey, we went 8 games without, like consecutive games without getting a holding call. They holding me. And then we went 10 games without getting a holding call. And I was like, hey, pump the brakes, D-Law. And D-Law went down that same path. But you notice D-Law don't say anything now to the media about not getting those holding calls, right? But it is what it is, man. Twin Empire says, welcome to Nikki Bosa Worlds. Come on, man. Big Sar says that could be the play that he got injured on, though. Was it? I thought he got injured on the play on the outside, on the outer boundary. Yeah. I'm going back to this. You might be right. Let me see. He is kind of pulling at him. Let me pull this up all the way. Yeah, he is. That is dangerous, you know, pulling all on the back of the man. It is a clear, obvious hold. And that would have been a sack. Ain't no way, because Stafford, he still got to step inside of his throw, and he got to release the ball. The ball got to go forward. So, yeah, that's a sack, man. Yeah, my God. Let's listen to what he got to say.
And most of the players in this league at some point, you know, play through pain, play through injuries, and are able to do so at a big-time level. I mean, we've got them, you know, around the locker room. Certainly DeMarcus Lawrence has shown throughout his career what he can do, but, you know, it just speaks volumes to their competitive nature and how they want to help their team win.
I'm really glad that you brought up DeMarcus Lawrence. It seemed like early in the week, we know, of course, but it seemed like DeMarcus Lawrence and Dalton Schultz might be 2 more players y'all have to kind of keep an eye on. Is that accurate, and how are they looking this morning?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got to keep our eye on them. As I said, I mean, this is a physical game that we're playing, and after every game you're going to have those things that you got to keep an eye on. Dalton Schultz fits right in there as a guy who's playing through not being 100%, but same type of mentality. He wants to be out there for his teammates, wants to perform and help his team win. And we're just fortunate to have guys like that. But, you know, as you play through the season, that's, you know, you're going to have guys who, you know, have these things that you got to monitor. It's a part of our game. The good news is you have some buys packed in there, have a buy packed in, each team does, which gives you, you know, at some point at our bye, we'll have a chance for guys to get even better. But in the meantime, that's why this depth pays off. I mean, you got guys who can go in there. I thought the young tight ends did a nice job yesterday for Dalton. And, you know, we'll just continue to work through these things. Every team in the league, I'm sure, is going through the same things.
Now, with that being said, look, I'm all down for players playing through injuries. We learned last year that Parsons, he played with a hyperextended knee all through the year. We learned last year that the PCL tear for Ezekiel Elliott, he played through that all through the year. Now, we know of Dalton Schultz PCL tear. We can see that, and we can see that Dalton Schultz, he don't have explosiveness. And I'm not beating up Dalton Schultz. I'm not. But if he's limping around there, he's not that kind of caliber of player that can give you that extra. I would rather see Ferguson And Hendershot, even though they call a BS holding on him, but that's a story of another day. Knocked us out of first down, what have you, but that's a whole nother story, right? It was more egregious than this particular hold. It wasn't even close to this one. But look, we ain't gonna tick for tack. I understand Dalton Schultz want to get that bag, but things that we got to understand from a fan perspective, I'm gonna take my analysis hat off, but from a fan perspective, if this dude Schultz is looking like he's slower than Jason Witten. I believe right now Jason Witten can beat him on the foot chase with the toupee and all. I believe you can bring back Jason Witten, and he will probably give you a little bit more than Schultz at this point. Let Schultz rest. Let Schultz rest. I got to get these bots up out of here. All right, so we got to go into the subscriber-only mode. But while I'm doing that, I have to say this. And that same rule applies to Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott. I like what he brings to the table. I'm not changing on Dak Prescott. But I don't want him to come out there and not be capable of squeezing the ball and letting it go. Because the first thing that we can't accept over here, you guys, I know how y'all operate and work. Y'all would really accept 10 for 16 out of Cooper Rush, but you for dog sure would not accept 10 for 16 even if we win by 3 touchdowns out of my guy Dak Prescott. You would not accept that. Y'all will be crashing and burning over here. Y'all will be saying, "Oh man, we can't win." Even if we winning, y'all will say we can't win with that. So I get it. Dak Prescott got to be healthy when he returns. And my guy Jay Forbes, to keep me updated, man. Let me know if he can squeeze the ball and all of that and get it out of his hand. But that's just the reality of it, Cowboy Nation. It goes all the way back to a movie I watched when I was growing up. Long time ago. Let me do this right quick. 1, 2, bam, and save. Yeah, bam. All right, I got that saved, and I got to do one more thing. Give me 1 second here, bam. We get out of here. Got to turn that. All right, it's on now. Subscriber mode only, and bam. Okay, good. There's one movie that I watched growing up. And it was the Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks. Who remember Mighty Ducks? Show of hands if you remember Mighty Ducks. You won't know until Wednesday. Shout out to you, Jay. My guy, JV on it. Who remember Mighty Ducks? Who remember Mighty Ducks? Put MD in the chat if you remember Mighty Ducks. And there was a player that he was like their captain. He was like the guy that they really wanted to have on the team. And he had him to say, okay, your wrist okay? He said, yeah, my wrist's okay. And he saw, Gregory said, me. He saw that he was kind of struggling with the hockey stick. So he told him to hold out the hockey stick. Hold out the hockey stick. You see him holding? And that thing got to shaking like Megan Thee Stallion. It just got to shaking. He couldn't hold it out straight. And he said, hey, I'm gonna have to bench you, man, because he wasn't ready to go. That was the coach's decision. It was a difficult one. He was the best player on the team. You never watched it, Asmodeus? It's a good show, man. It was way long time ago. What was his name? Banks? It was him. So Banks couldn't hold out the hockey stick. If he'd have put him out there, he would have hurt them chances of winning. That's what coaches got to do. So if my guy, Coach Bombay, shout out to you. So if that's the situation and scenario, if Dak Prescott can't hold out the hockey stick, I'm just speaking with an analogy here, then he shouldn't be able to be inside this the starting roster or the starting lineup. I get it. His time will come. It takes 6 to 8 weeks anyway. So let's get him fully ready to get out there so that he can be available. I don't want to rush him and then something else happen. That's all I'm saying. Let's go.
With that in mind, we've bounced nickname ideas off of you before. Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot that you just mentioned, we have been calling them Fergushot. What do you think about that combination?
You'd have to ask them if they're gonna get nicknamed, but I actually think it's pretty creative. I'd be behind it.
Thank you very much. Tolos love that one too. We always appreciate that. Now the offense scores 22. Your quarterback threw for 102 yards, didn't turn the ball over. That's great. This game, a lot of people I've seen are saying, well, if the Cowboys are going to run up against an opponent, you're going to have to score 30 points at some point. It can't always be like that. What are your concerns about this offense, or do you think you have any at this moment? This is just the way that the game had to be played on Sunday.
Well, I think Mike's doing a great job. Him and Kellen are playing complementary football, and as you said, not turning the ball over, protecting it, letting the defense make plays for us. And then, the biggest thing is we have a franchise quarterback who's not playing right now. And certainly, at some point he will be back sooner than later. And I think when he does, I just think the efficiency of the offense should pick up. But, right now we're doing what we need to do to win the games. We're running the football, which is really important. And, running it late, probably knocked our average down a little bit in terms of our yards per carry when they knew we were going to be running the ball every play. But, I think overall our offense is going to ultimately come and be what we need it to be so they and do their part to help us win these football games.
So you mentioned the franchise quarterback. Dak's handing out firm handshakes to the media now. So what does that mean with the progress?
Well, it means he's progressing, and certainly we feel good about it, and we'll just see what today and tomorrow brings and, make decisions based on where he thinks he is. Obviously, we all know he's got to be able to grip that ball the way he needs to throw it with the accuracy and the zip, that he needs to have to be successful. So we'll continue to monitor that and see where we end up.
I know going in.
So Wednesday, according to my guy Jay Farm, and it's in the chat, it's going to be a big day because I guess they off today. It's a federal holiday for me, so I know they off. And of course it's Victory Monday, a federal holiday for all of y'all, right? But I do know that Tuesday is the day they all open up for practice, and then Wednesday is open up for the media. Maybe something will leak out Tuesday or something like that down the line. But at this point, if he's got a little rust factor, I don't know if the Cowboys fan base. Now, I heard you don't supposed to listen to the fan base, but the fan base will not allow it. The energy is energy, and negative energy travels just as good as positive energy, and those things trickle down into the mindset. So let's see how this thing will all unfold. When is our bye week, for crying out loud? We need to have that bye week to come around real quickly.
Into the Eagles game, y'all probably view it from a more practical purpose of it's a divisional game, but I also think about it's against one of your most hated rivals, and it's an opportunity to knock off the last undefeated team in the league and show everyone how good the Cowboys are. Do you get caught up in any of that hyperbole like I do, or are you just like, hey, it's a division game, let's go win it?
Well, anytime you play a divisional game, there's the competitive juices come out, whether it's the Eagles, the Redskins, or the Giants. You throw all the records out the window. It's going to be a dogfight, and certainly we expect that in Philadelphia. I mean, they're obviously playing at a high level this year. As you said, they're the only undefeated team left. It'll be a great challenge for us, but I'm sure Mike and the staff's going to have our guys prepared, and I know it'll be important for us to go up there and play our best football, so hopefully we could get a win.
I know you said throw the records out, but you also, it would be a little bit sweeter, right, to give them their very first loss?
Anytime you're playing the Eagles, you want to beat them. And if it's their first loss this year, then that'd be great too. So, we're vying for the NFC East champ. Each one of us are trying to win the East, and certainly one of the more, top over the course of the time, one of the more top divisions in football, and we just look forward to the great rivalry game up there in Philly.
That boy making sure he ain't giving no bulletin board material. You know, I will give them bulletin board material. This Wednesday, me and Lord Brunson, we would do a joint show, Cowboys versus Eagles talk. We would get it out of the mud. It's going to be 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock his time. We're going to talk about this rivalry. But for right now, it's Victory Monday. We ain't talking Eagles talk. We're still talking about the Rams over here. We still trying to figure things out. We got to go over and give our analysis of this Rams game. And then around, late Tuesday, maybe early Tuesday, but more so late Tuesday, we would talk about this whole situation about the Cowboys versus those Eagles. But neither here nor there, Cowboy Nation. Y'all already know how this thing goes. The Dallas Cowboys must continue to be who we are. But let's check in on the Rams. Let's see how they're feeling right now. How your Rams doing? Oh. Y'all still crying? There better not be no Eagles. Look, back in the days, what you laughing? You going to get some too. You keep laughing over there, Eagles. I bet not see y'all laughing. What you sitting over there laughing? You next, Boy, oh boy, those Rams still crying over there. I just had to check in on them, making sure that everything is okay. But Stephen Jones making sure that he's not giving the Philadelphia Eagles any bulletin board materials. But I'm gonna tell you guys, let's get this thing going, because I truly believe if you're an Eagles fan and you watch the Eagles what they did to the Arizona Cardinals, that is no bead of confidence of what you guys would try to do to the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, you guys was on the road. I still think that Kyler Murray, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. He had the first down right there. Matter of fact, the proper run, by the way, is for him to bounce it all the way to the outside. He had the full outside. If you want to save clock, he had real estate in front of him. He had a blocker in front of him. This dude slides, and then in return, he didn't get the first down, and then he spikes the ball. Like, come on, man. They paying this man $200 million. Look, can somebody put down Kyler Murray's salary? Can somebody please put down his salary? Man, we've seen multiple games from the Eagles. They 5-0. That far as the team that they played shot themselves in the foot more so than they won that game. I can go all the way back to week 1. The Detroit Lions more so lost the game. Then the Eagles won the game. But if y'all want a cookie because y'all beat them by 3 points, you can have it. Even the Minnesota Vikings game. I'm sitting here looking at Kirk Cousins. He just looking for Slay as his number 1 wide receiver. And then this past game. Come on. The Cards let him off the hook. Let me check in on the Cards, man. Let me make sure they okay. Cards, man, how y'all feeling after that Eagles loss? Man, God dog, man, somebody give Kyler Murray a nipple, man. God dog, he's crying over there. God dog, man, all you had to do is run to the outside or make sure you secure the bag, the first down first. Man, come on, man.
Hey, Stephen, before we let you go, Tony Pollard had 8 carries on the day, and he was averaging, I think, Kevin, 29.5 yards at halftime.
That's good.
Per carry. But he only had 8 touches. Is that the balance you want? Do you think Tony could be more of an every down back, or where are you with this run game right now?
Where are you with Tony?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a balance you'll have. Obviously, Zeke was having a great day and being physical, and I think was taking its toll on on the Rams. So
he was.
I think ultimately, would you like to get Pollard a few more touches? Absolutely, but they'll work through that and continue to get him his touches, and Obviously, he's dynamic. I mean, he's so juicy in terms of, when he gets in the open field, he makes plays. So I know that's something Mike and Kellen will continue to work on, and hopefully, as we move forward, they'll have more opportunities. But you kind of play you kind of got a gut feel as you're calling the plays there, as Mike and Kellen do. And I think that'll be something we figure out as we move down the road.
All right, so with that being said, on the offensive side, who are our most explosive guys? Is it in any order? Well, no, give me the order. Because Tony Pollard got to be your most explosive guy, right? And I believe that they are scared to use Kevontae Turpin. So he's not even explosive anymore to me. And they're too scared to even use him. We have yet to see this offensive coordinator, and I'm not talking about him, to figure out ways. Oh, see, Nick says Mike McCarthy is live now. Do we listen to Mike McCarthy? Or should I wait? Because that kind of draws the show out, if I tune in to Mike McCarthy. Go to the presser? Okay, Jay, I'm going to go to the presser. Both of my dogs, C. Nick and Jay, said, go to the presser, man. Let me see if I go to the presser. Let me see if I can build this play wide in there. Because he kind of drives me out a little bit. I like Mike McCarthy. All right, let me see. Jay, man, put the link in the chat, man, so I can click the link. I can't find it, man. We got too many content creators, man. I type in Cowboys. It don't even pull up them. Cowboys, DallasCowboys.com. And their website, I can't go to the website. Let's go to Cowboys.com. We got too many people with the somebody, man, give me the link, Jay, and I'm gonna go to it. Somebody give me the link. One of my mods, because I know the other people can't type it in. That's how crazy that is, I type in Dallas Cowboys and all on YouTube, and all of the content creators pull up. Not the Cowboys itself. There we go. I finally found it. Hey, live, man. Unless he was already live. What I'm going to do here. They ain't live yet. All right, so what I'm going to do is. This is what I'm going to do. They still on commercial. So when his head pop up, I know they off commercial. How about that? And we keep the show boogieing, all right. And appreciate you, Jay. You the real one, bro. Appreciate you. That's the YouTube link. And I have it right here. All right. Oh, yeah, now he got it on. Okay. There we go.
If you look back on where you were defensively,
thank you.
Your first 5 games here as head coach to where you are in these first 5 games, have you been a part of such a dramatic turnaround in such a short period of time on one side of the ball all the way across the board?
Do you have a flight delay or something? I mean, oh my God. You lost me at the first 5 games.
Just where you were defensively your first, early.
I mean, obviously, statistically, when we started in 2020, it was, we had some tough days, particularly, stopping the run in 2020. And this is, clearly a different defense. Obviously, it's a different personnel that fits the system and all those things. I always looked at 2020 as a transition year. Every head coach goes through it. You have a vision of how you want the team to look and how you want them to practice and how you want them to play. So, that was definitely part of that transition.
This is Tyler Dixon with the AP. Following up on that, but I promise not to start with the first 5 games. How much of what Dan has now started in that offseason when he came in after that year? How much did he have to build the psyche and the morale of those vets that were back, or those kinds of things? Yeah, definitely. And I think not only with Dan, coming, you had Joe Witt, and I think just the working relationship that he had with Dan, and obviously Joe worked with me for 10 years up in Green Bay. So, all that as far as how we wanted to play, and frankly, when Dan arrived, we started. The transition in 2020, with 3 match as our base coverage, and
where Dan is was historically from a 3 vision. I'm not exactly sure how you all communicate that, but different. So we stayed with the match and built it from there as the foundation. And so in some senses, the transition started in 2020. And then when, just like every time there's a new coordinator, and we carried as much over as we could from 20, and Dan and the staff did a great job with the language, and because language is a big part of it, and we just wanted to be multiple and aggressive, and
no doubt.
And I think our defense definitely illustrates that.
Louis Scruggs, NBC5 Dallas. Can you speak to what you first saw with Dorrance Armstrong when he was here, mainly on special teams, and what he's become? And then my second question for you, from an advantage being on the road, Washington or LA, where have you seen more Cowboy fans at?
Good question. I'll start with the second one. I'd say LA. I'd say there's a few more our fans in LA than Washington, as I recall back to last year's game.
Yep.
And what was the first question?
Dorrance Armstrong.
Dorrance Armstrong, yeah. DA, was exclusively, played primarily on special teams in 2020. Then really, every opportunity he was given, defensively, he performed. He was always getting pressures and potentially, making impact plays on very short, number of reps. But if you look at just the way, he's matured, his body's changed, and he just, to me, he's done this every year. So it's he's a joy to coach. Old school, you don't have to say much to DA. He's a hard worker, very consistent, but very, very instinctive, aware football player.
Dave, you got anything?
No.
Mike,
I thought it was done.
Michael Elkins, Dallas Morning News. There was a 3-play sequence to start the second quarter where you had a tackle for loss by Sam Williams, a tackle for loss by Tristan Hill, and then DeMarcus on third down makes a tackle downfield, 12 yards downfield to get off the field, third down. Mm-hmm. What do you think that sequence says about the collective contributions that you guys are getting from your defensive line?
Well, the defensive line, and you could put the whole front in there. I mean, they all contributed, but what I love about it is just the play time, the rotation. I thought our rotation, as far as what we projected going into the game, was right on the money, and that's what you want, because it gives all these guys opportunities to make plays. They're staying fresh. They're playing. We're anywhere from 21 plays to 40. Throughout that whole group, and I think that's just so beneficial. I know from a coach's perspective, but it also, it's just very healthy all the way through. I mean, it's healthy. It's the competitive spirit is amongst us to get those opportunities and perform when you're given the chance, and I think it's something that's a huge strength of ours right now.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. How's Micah feeling today, and what do you learn about a guy when he still produces when he's not right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's definitely a threshold in the National Football League that you see all players go through, and you learn a lot about players when they play through injury. And you look at the impact that Micah made, and he obviously ended the game there in the fourth quarter. So his ability to play through the injury, I think it started early in the first half, and then they got him taped up at halftime. So. But I think he still got 40 plus plays. But he was impactful when he was in there, and especially being for as young as he is. So I think it says a lot about the individual.
How's he today? Have you gotten any word?
Good. I saw him earlier. So I mean, he's getting better. I mean, it's we're 24 hours away from the game, so I anticipate he'll do some. I'm actually going right to the training room from here, so we haven't really done the reps or. Been specific on exactly how long we're going to practice on Wednesday.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. What's the plan for Dak this week?
The plan for Dak, no more. When I talk to those guys, I know there's evaluation that I need to get the facts from. So we'll have a plan for him starting Wednesday.
How much do you try to, because he wants to play, obviously, and all guys do when they come. Mm-hmm. How do you protect himself from trying to get out there?
I mean, I think you really need to listen to the medical. Number one, I think that's being Captain Obvious, and but and just watching him go through the rehab. So he's doing everything he can, but until the ball comes consistently off his hand, that'll be the final step. But until the medical people get comfortable where he can throw in live action. So I mean, and I don't know when that's going to happen. You know, they haven't given me that. That's information that has not come down the road yet.
Patrick, do you have anything? You good? Todd.
Mike, can you see a scenario where Dak could be active as Cooper's backup during this ramp up for him as he's coming back from this deal?
Let's trust the medical. Once we get past the medical, I'll answer that question.
Mike, have you found sometimes that, like you say, the identity of a team is different every season? Have you found sometimes that identity forms quicker when a key player is out because it kind of forces, it accelerates some things?
I think that could definitely be a trigger because it's just like anything. It creates more opportunity for others, and then when more than one person has to step up for one individual being out, obviously that's an opportunity for 2 or 3 more people to grow, and then it gives you an opportunity to grow more in your run offense or your run defense. And yeah, I think that those are triggers that also promote growth, and I think you see it every single, I'm gonna say season, but you probably almost see that weekly.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Circling back to the injury front, any update on Jason Peters on if he'll miss some time and how much?
I have not got an injury report on Jason, so once again, we'll have it for you Wednesday. Yeah.
Tyler Smith,
Wednesday,
he felt it was a great learning experience yesterday to go up against Aaron Donald. What have you made of just the way Tyler processes his struggles when they do come as learning experiences, and how valuable is it when he comes to the sideline after a tough rep to have a guy like Jason Peters in his ear telling him some technical adjustments that he can make?
I mean, let me make clear about Tyler, and we all learned this right away. I mean, this young man's an alpha. I mean, he hasn't blinked with any opportunity that he's been exposed to. So, he's very consistent. Very diligent in his preparation. Mentally, classroom, practice environment, all those things. But what I like about him, he stays aggressive. He's a competitor, and he's just, he's young. He's green in some areas, and it's just exciting to watch him grow weekly. And what a great experience to go against, someone like Aaron Donald, and he'll be better for it. But trust me, I really going back to week 1, I was more excited to see him play because of the type of person is. We all recognize the talent, but he's just a young man that needs to continue to play, and he will be just fine.
Coach, kind of along the same lines of Kyle Young's DallasCowboys.com, but with DeMarcus Lawrence, how much has he grown since you got here, just into the scheme with Dan Quinn and kind of the way that he's shown up this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously he's the vet here, just so impact. I mean, you just cannot not love the way he plays. I mean, he's so physical, and just particularly. I'm not talking about sacks, just the way he goes after the football, and he's so violent, even in the run defense. So, but I think obviously our system, our rotation, Dan's experience, Dan's exceptional, not only as a defensive coordinator, but especially in front play, and I think it's been very good for him.
Has his mindset changed any from the time that you first got here to now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's 2020 was so different. I don't really, we're just getting to know each other. We had a lot go on more than our normal year. So I would think all of our mindsets have changed in a positive way.
Have you seen Kellen Moore grow in the last couple of weeks? He lost his quarterback. You had to get Gallup in, and obviously you've had some O-line changes.
I think Kellen's done an excellent job. I mean, it's, when you're accustomed to playing, I mean, just you look at his career as a play caller, the way, 19 and even the beginning of 20 and definitely in 21, playing wide open in a sense. And when you have to call plays for the benefit of the team, it's a challenge. This is a defensive first operation, and that's mandated by the head coach because that's our strength. And we identified that in the spring, and I think Kellen's done an excellent job adjusting to that. You don't get to ask any questions you're related.
Mike, what did you make of the way Trayvon played after he gave up the 2 plays?
I'll tell you what, didn't blink. That's what I liked about it. I thought he tackled very well. I think, just like anything, I mean, that was obviously a big play for them. But I just love the way he competed. And, you're going to have that. I mean, to be a top corner like he is, I mean, you got to have your memory can't be very long. So I didn't see him blink at all.
Has he ever been a guy that you've seen like one play bother him and carry it since you've been around him?
Not really. I mean, even at a young age. I mean, that's something I always admired about him. I mean, he loves the competition of the game. He loves the competition of anything. He's extremely competitive young man. So that's a huge asset for him.
Mike. Along the lines of defensive-minded team, defensive strength, and keeping that in mind as an offense, is that context that explains some of the disparity we see on first down in terms of running as often as you guys do relative to pass? It was quite the discrepancy Sunday.
Well, I mean, I think just like anything, how they line up too has something to do with it. So, I mean, that's, we're trying to be in and out of personnel and formations, but definitely. I mean, we got 2 dynamic running backs. So, I mean, I think just the way we're built and the importance of running the ball, and obviously, we came out of last year's study saying, hey, we need to be better on action pass game. I mean, it's the action pass game at first and second down was the focus for us, and obviously the more you run the ball and the more successful you are running the ball, it definitely heightens your opportunities for success in the action passing game.
You talked before about really enjoying calling plays and especially the pass plays. How difficult is that to curb your own tendencies as a young play caller to not just be about imposing your will and doing whatever you want offensively, but actually fitting it into the larger parameters of team strength?
Yeah, I say this all the time, and we talk about it as a football team quite frankly, is you need to know yourself better than anything. Your own personal self, Scott, is critical. And I'm not just talking about the players. I'm talking about the play callers.
Take that one, Jay.
I'm talking about how we teach, how we evaluate. You have to be on top of everything that way if you really think you're going to improve and grow as a coach, as a player, as a support staff member. So you got to be really aware of how you operate. And the one thing that I push a lot, especially after week 4 with the players, you better know every snap of video that you put on that film, because that's what they're looking at. So know yourself. Self-scouts, it's just not a word. It's not just a process. It's not, I know everybody does it, but it's just like anything in the game of football. We all have the same amount of time to prepare for a game. Where are you going to spend your time? So I think it's important to spend as much time as you possibly can on yourself.
Clarence Hill, Forward Star Telegram. Last night you talked about the connection in the locker room, the community in the locker room, how that was the glue to what you got, more so than the talent. Last year they talked all about was a brotherhood, but is there more connection with this team? Can you expound on what you feel that this get together?
Yeah, definitely. I think, just like anything, you're able to add a draft class. You had a couple free agents, so I'm not exactly sure what the numbers are, 22, 23, 24% change from last year. That's really what I'm accustomed to. But, we've had very good veteran leadership even before I got here. So, I mean, that's one thing that I was impressed about in 2020. So we have excellent group of veterans. We got a lot of staff that's been here a long time, so there's definitely some assets there. So I think when you're trying to build and develop a culture, culture doesn't stay the same. I mean, it never stays the same. It's going one way or the other. And if you were able just to be around this team, I mean, this team doesn't just like each other. I mean, they love each other. They're competing all the time. There's a lot of interaction. I think the fact that you don't see it as much in today's NFL that you did back in the 90s and the early 2000s, guys, it's because there's so much to do, especially in this great city of Dallas. There's so much to do that usually when guys leave here, they're done. But these guys do a lot of things together, and I think that is huge for your locker room. So, and that's the strength of the connection compared to the last 2 years.
And when you have an injury like that, does that, if you're already close, they bring you even, closer together?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just look the way people, rally to Dak. I mean, he has such a bright light. He has a bright spirit. I mean, people are attracted to Dak, and and that hasn't changed.
Mike.
Connor McGovern, that was his first game working from start to finish, and he was battling through some things there. How did you make of how he did working through in the first
just going back through his grade, there's definitely some things that can be better. I mean, one of our biggest things on the offensive line, I mean, I think clearly, the run blocking was physical. It wasn't clean. We definitely have technique and fundamentals that we just got to stay after it and keep working it. As far as the double teams, whether we're going back, whether we're going vertical. So just a little we had a couple technical things. You had one where Aaron Donald split us, and it was clearly a footwork. We were in between what type of double team. So I mean, those are the things that they're all correctable, but the play style is where it needs to be. I thought our finish was pretty darn good, and we were giving backs clean apexes to run off of. The pass protection. Our pass protection adjustment wasn't what it needed to be. We had two clearly where we put Tyler in a one-on-one situation that we could have been better there, and we had a blitz pickup we missed. So those are the things that we're focused on, because obviously they're, just like I just got done talking about, they're on film. That's what Philadelphia is looking at. So we need to be much better in those situations.
Mike, how did you come to pick the DOC to speak to the team? And then what's that process like when you have guys who take that important role of speaking to your team to help deliver the message of what you want?
Well, I mean, number one, my daughter Alex and DOC have a relationship just through working out there in Los Angeles. But he just has such an incredible story. My family's been around him more than I have the last 2 years. And especially with our theme being resilience, in his story of perseverance, patience, and prayer, and he just had such a strong message. He has a documentary that's going to be coming out that's very powerful. So I just thought it would be an incredible message for our team. But also I knew they would. Is everything all right, Becker? I thought you were waiting for me. No. Okay. Man, I thought I was on a good answer here, but okay. Thank you. So I just thought his message and his story, I mean, would just be so powerful to share with our football team, and it was an honor and a privilege to have him there, and he was awesome. He couldn't have been better, and the players, really enjoyed having him there.
You got a favorite song of his?
Oh, come on now, I can't.
Calvin.
My apologies.
Yeah. What's that?
My apologies from last night.
That's all right.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio, in regards
You're like the wrong camera, Clarence. What do you got?
In regards to locker room culture, you talk about the veterans coming and fitting in. Could you speak more to Anthony Barr and his role in that? Because he was one of the guys in Minnesota, and yet you're not bringing any attention to him.
Yeah. Well, number one, it's great to be on the same sideline, Anthony. Just competing, watching him compete against us for so many years. But Anthony Barr is. And he had it at a young age, just watching him in his early years in Minnesota. But football comes easy and natural. I mean, he's so instinctive. No one fills a gap as quick as Anthony. I mean, just all the little things. The way he matches coverage, recognition. He's just a very consistent personality, smooth operator, and he's just been an excellent addition for us. So love the way he fits in with the guys in the locker room, and just he brings a very steady leadership to our group. And like I said, football that's probably the best way I could describe him. I think the game, but he sees the game clearly, and it comes easy to him.
Mike, you've talked before about the synergy between the coaches and the personnel department. I don't know why you got a little smirk on you.
No.
Haven't gone there yet.
I can't believe we act like this in there. It's supposed to be a professional environment.
You talked about the synergy you guys have between the coaches and personnel. Is that different than other spots? And what makes it different here?
I think probably one of the biggest, most important components of football operations is the relationship between personnel and coaching. I mean, you see it time and time again. Maybe no one wants to talk about it or be honest about it, but that has sunk more ships.
All right. So that was Coach Mike McCarthy at the live presser. You guys can check that out on Cowboys.com or go to their YouTube page. The link is somewhere in the description or in the chat there. Shout out to my guy Jay Form. So basically, the team got team unity, and the team is pretty much rallying behind the coaching staff, and they truly believe in Dak Prescott too. For what I pull out of this presser. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Normally, we would go into the phone lines, but I got to bounce like a basketball. So I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. Maybe we will go live a little later on tonight. And I'm going to check with my friend there and see if she want to jump on, Bree. But if not, just hang tight. We will have more video footages. And like I said, circle your calendar for Wednesday. Me and Lord Bronson, we will do a joint show, Cowboys versus Eagles. And I would talk about his team, and he'll try to talk about mine. But I really appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to you, Link. Shout out to you, Sadiqwa. Shout out to you, Jackson. Thank you for jumping in. I am awake. Are you? Appreciate you for jumping in as well. Ill Machine. I really appreciate you guys so much for being part of this episode. Thank y'all. If you was waiting on the phone lines, man, I just charged it to my head, not my heart. We will open up the phone lines maybe sometimes later, but I will like to know your thoughts of this game. So don't remove them from your mind. Appreciate you, Coach Marv. Thank you as well. That's been my time, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to grind to shine. Oh, let me check in one more time for the LA Rams, and let's see how they doing. Y'all still crying. Man, God, dog, they still crying over there, baby. All right, man, let's get on out of here, baby. Hey, like I said, the prize fighter continue to swing even when he's down. The mindset must be, I'm continuing to fight. I'm continuing to renew my mind of the goals that I have in store. Everybody must always still do a self-inventory of themselves. Pick out the things that went bad, move them away. Try to restore them things that you do good. I tell people this all the time. Success is failure turned inside out. You, my friend, shout out to you, Perry Locke, Trip Aces, salute to you. Mary Lon, thank you so much. But everybody that's listening, we're rolling now, baby. We're 4-1, 5 games in. We got many games to go. It's not over with. It's still not cold. Some people say football is not football until you see it's cold outside. That's when it hits. When you hit them, you really feel it. It's still warm, huh? So let's get another one, right? Shout out to you, Cowboys Sports Report. Appreciate you. Scotty. Daniel Lee. I know you guys got this in your hearts. I almost say it again till I'm Cowboys blue in the face. How bad do you want it? How far are you willing to go get it? Huh? If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it, if you will just simply go after the thing you want, and dogged and grim and besiege and beset it with the help of Almighty, you will get it. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Shout out to Cowboys Experience. Let's go. Roll credits, baby. Huh? The Daily YouTube, appreciate you. Thank you.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody
Appreciate
like me.
you.
Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze, photo, please.
Shout out to you, David Laws. Appreciate you. C. Clark.
Please, no photos.
Come
Hit
on.
the door and the door
Link.
just whole team
Come on.
here might need some. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up a way till I old producers saw the numbers one. Different colors in my
Let me
baggy
see some
light.
flames in the chat, baby.
Talk of the town where you're talking up. Wanna get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets dull. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause the hate and the jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze, photo, please, no photos, G's, no, please, no photos. I keep giving game away. I put game on layaway. I got paid to play today.
We got some breaking news.
We answered, I talked stuff, I thought we had it, but it goes to show you who's the better team, and I'm sticking Cowboys.
You're crying.
I'm hurt. I love my Eagles. I love the Eagles.
You gonna flap the hat one more time for the
Just
Eagles?
one more
For the hard
time.
fight they did?
For the hard fight.
Let's go Birds, fly, Eagles, fly. Still Super Bowl champions for now.
Hey, that'll never get old, baby. Hey, man. She said, you gonna flap the hat one more time for the hard fight?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
If you don't like that, come on, man. Y'all know y'all like that.
Shame.
Y'all know y'all like that. Come on, Lala.
Shame. Shame.
Oh my gosh. Jalen Hurts. Oh man. He's number one running back for the Eagles, right? We shut down Hurts. It's over. They're gonna try to do that short game to the tight end. That tight end ain't ready to do nothing on them boys.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in, yeah. Take a bite of my burger.
Victory Monday, baby.
Save a last bite for you, for you. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
Come on.
You know it's
how do the street lights sound when they hit you? How it feel? LA, let me see how it feel.
Can I be your player too? I'll follow.
Hey,
wherever you go.
Washington, how it feel when those street lights hit you? Let me check in. The Giants, how do those street lights feel? Huh? Huh, John? Okay.
And another one.
You should get your head up out of it. I told you to put it down.
7 wonders all in one.
All at one.
All in one.
Come on.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
It's danger, baby.
You know it's dangerous to go
Come on.
alone.
Are you not entertained?
Don't let the
Are you not entertained?
Don't let that hit you, baby.
Can I be your player too?
Oh my gosh, man. Law, appreciate you, man, so much, Jay, for with the $20 super chat. That stat I gave you for Mike McCarthy going 15-1, 17 players on the IR was 2011. Update that on your okay. All right, let me do it like quick. What I did, 2010, 2011? I copy you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'm going to update it, man. I'm going to update that part. I highlighted it. I'm going to update it. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Oh, my gosh, man.
Fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
Stop, please. Come back, please.
Yo, baby, let's get on up out of here. One love, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate y'all. We up out. Salute. That's what it looked like. Parsons right there.
Come back, please.
That dude all on Parsons' back, man. He is.
You have to
Matt Trashford.
be your biggest fan.
I appreciate you, Terrence.
Things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.
I corrected J-Form. I just corrected. We up out. One love. I'm going to get me some tacos or something, man. I'm hungry.